darling.
Yay!
Oh my goodness. Can I just quickly tell you, I know we've got enough stress with lockdown, and the wonderful thing is that's why we're here. But I have spent the night auditioning in my dreams. I've been auditioning the whole night to be a clown. And I cannot tell you, not only do I have the stress of auditioning, but then I wake up and we've got lockdown. So I'm very stressed, darlings. And now we're into the afternoon. So please help me.
When you
You're
say
a very
clown,
good
darling,
clown, actually, Harriet, I think.
I had a big smiley face, not the Joker, but it was the most stressful night. I can't tell you why. Why? Yes, I probably
It's because of the world we live in. It's this blooming lockdown that was starting on Thursday as well.
Yeah.
And can I just put a plea out there for people to stop being ridiculous? Because my Marks and Spencer's, there was a queue going round the block yesterday.
I know.
The supermarkets are not closing.
You go into your
food forever.
Darling, go onto your balcony and shout that. Get a megaphone and just tell the world.
I know. Stop buying toilet rolls.
It's
I
crazy.
don't know why. The thing about toilet rolls that confuses me.
What's the confusion with the toilet roll, Debbie?
Why?
How much do you need?
How much do you need? Why would you need so much more in a lockdown?
Do you remember we talked when we first got together?
Yes,
And we started this.
Yeah.
We talked about how many
You need.
the toilet roll do we need? And we worked out we
Absolutely.
could do it with 4. But that's, very sophisticated chat, and Motivational Monday perhaps needs something else. I don't know.
Oh,
think
I don't
so.
know. But anyway, I mean, I think the thing is that we, when this happens, usually, and moments of adversity like this, I think new things happen. Green shoots are coming in all over the place. So I think we need to be uplifted and, realize that this is another thing that's happening. But I was thinking the other day, people were getting so upset about it. And I thought, in our generation, was this the only thing that we've really had to go through that's been this serious? Our parents' generation, our grandparents' generation have been through wars and everything else. And this is all we've had to do, which is stay at home, which I think we're quite privileged if this is the only thing that we've ever had to go through.
Absolutely. Sharing the ups and the downs, which we do on this show, gets us through. So come on, Wonderbirds.
And this,
Here we go.
exactly,
Come
this
on,
is why,
everybody.
that's it, Wonderbirds was born, because out of lockdown.
Exactly.
So good always comes out of bad, as my mum
Does
used
that mean we're all going to give birth in the nest? That we're reborn?
You never know.
No, we bought eggs.
Eggs.
But they had Sir Tom on this morning, and he was saying, listen, I remember the Battle of Britain overhead in the skies and bombs dropping, and you didn't know if you were going to wake up tomorrow morning in a house. He said, just get on with it. This isn't that. It isn't that.
Yeah.
We've got supermarkets open. We've got schools open. Just stop it.
Exactly.
And get on with life.
I think it's very interesting though, Sherry. We seem to be a generation that is very mollycoddled. So all of our, whereas before the generations were stoic, they were strong. Now everything is all, because we've been sort of like brought up with sort of, I was going to say silver paper, but in tissue paper. And now we've got to have to deal with this, but it's not a lot to deal with.
I think it's not just our generation, Debbie. I think it's the generation beyond, because I remember going through the AIDS epidemic when I lost a whole fleet of my friends in my 30s. And I think I was working from when I was 14, and I don't think we're all working women. We brought up kids on our own. There's nothing we haven't done. So I think it's harder because we've also tried to make our world perfect for our children. And I think it's
unsafe.
And we've been out there working since the get-go, and I think it's harder for them because they've had a perfect world, and now it's there seems to be nothing said.
I mean, I remember my mom saying to me that she was evacuated during the war and didn't see her parents for 2 years. No mobile phones, no communication. I mean, really.
My mother's parents were murdered in the war. And she came over here when she was 4 years old on her own.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so, exactly.
So we should be very grateful, actually, and also rations as well. No food. So come on, girls,
And we're complaining about toilet paper, and there are people starving to death in the world. Anyway, Sherry,
my dad used to say, oh my God, the war years were the best years of my life. And I used to say, for goodness sake, Dad, why do you say that rose-tinted coloured glasses? I said, the bombs were dropping. He said, listen to me. He said, we'd be in our house, a bomb would drop, we'd lose our house the next day. the next door neighbour would say, come in, you're sleeping with us, we've got food, here's your clothes, and we'd all carry on. He said, you have to do that. He said, don't be so ridiculous. He said, everybody, there was camaraderie and everybody cared. And that's what we've got to do with this country now. Just care about people. Just check on people. Check on the elderly. Check on people that need you. You know, stop being selfish. It's not about you. Check on everybody else. And that's what we're about.
And absolutely, because we have social media in the way we have it today, we have the power to do it. So we've got to get on and do it.
So I want to introduce to you one of the most important ladies of our time. Very brave lady. And I just adore her, and I'm very proud to introduce a lady called Maggie Oliver. Now, a lot of you out there will know that she was the detective constable and she was a whistleblower on the Rochdale child abuse scandal. Where are you, Maggie? Let's have you in.
Hi, Maggie.
Hey, Maggie. Hi, Maggie. Welcome to our
There
Maggie.
she is, looking. Look, what do you look like? Why do you look so glamorous all the time? I don't know what you do. You fabulous girl.
Fabulous hair. Fabulous hair.
Darling, did you say polyfiller? Did you actually just say polyfiller? That's very polyfiller. I didn't know it was that accessible. Thank you.
And your hair, I like the colour of your hair.
Oh, thank you, Sherry. I've just had it done by my lovely little hairdresser, but it feels a bit, it takes me a while because it was very pale, very light, and now it's a little bit darker, but I'll get used to it. And
it's lovely. I think it's a fabulous colour.
Oh, thank you.
I really love it.
Darling, listen, you know how much I adore you, and I think about you, of all the stuff you've been through, everything. And I remember, you know, the trial was 2012, so we're going back a long time. But I was always interested, and I always read about you, that at that time that no one supported you, even the establishment. And I always find that incredible to believe. So tell us about that.
You know, I was as shocked as you, really, Sherry, because, you know, when you join the police, I joined at 41. So, you know, I was a bit of a square peg in a round hole. But when I joined the police, I thought I was there to do good, you know, to help the vulnerable. And when I saw what was happening, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. But as I went through all the system and, you know, to the chief constable, to the Home Office, to the IPCC, and nobody wanted to listen, it made me really, really ill, but it didn't add up. It didn't make sense to me. You know, if you've got kids telling you that they're being raped on a daily basis, and we've got the evidence, the job of the police is to prosecute. So it didn't make any sense. And it made me so ill that my actual last day at work, I just collapsed. I was unconscious on the floor. You know, it really made me ill. And I sat here for about 6 weeks. I couldn't stand up. I was dizzy. I couldn't walk. But something inside me, Sherry, you know, however much people said, come to work, put your bum on the seat, do your job, you know, it's not your pay grade to make those decisions. Something I couldn't let go of, because, you know, I've got 4 kids of my own, and Hillsborough was going on actually in the background. And I was seeing all these families, you know, had fought for 30 years to have the truth told. And I thought, well, if I don't fight for this truth, my kids are going to switch the telly on in 30 years. And they're going to say, well, my mum, because I believed it would come out, my mum was on that job. Why didn't she say something? So I just, you know, I made the decision that I was going to tell the truth, and I was going to be heard. And so I did file on 4. But at the time, I thought, right, that's my proof. I've got something in my hand that my kids will know I tried. And I thought that'd be the end of it. But it wasn't. It just kind of followed me everywhere. But it was a very scary journey. But what I say is that, you know, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And once you have taken the leap of telling the truth and facing your fears, because, you know, I lost my home, I lost my health, I lost my job. I didn't know how I was going to pay my bills. But once you've told the truth, nothing there was nothing to frighten me anymore. You know, I was threatened, you know, and actually, you know, we're all women of a certain age here. You know, the chief constable at the time said I was a woman who had become too emotionally involved. I was bereaved. I'd lost the plot. Well, I'd swear if I could, Sherry, but I won't. But I thought, how dare you?
You can.
Well, you know what? Fuck off. Because I didn't lose the plot. He knew I was telling the truth. And to try and discredit me by saying, yeah, my husband had died, my little granddaughter had died. Actually, that made me better at what I did, because, you know, this was something that we could do something about.
Yeah,
you know, fight. Yes, we could. And kids who were being abused, we had a duty to protect them. So in a way, it made me stronger, and it made me fight for those who didn't have a voice. And, you know, the strap line of my charity now is transforming pain into power, because I feel that that's what I did. You know, I took all that pain, because it was the heart, even losing Norman, nobody could have changed that, Sherry. It was terminally ill, but this was avoidable. And so I used all that anger and that horror. And I think that's driven me on. And I think that's
Maggie, there's something that in you that drives you forward. Has that always been there? Was there something in your youth that moved you or made you realize you had a choice about what you do and that you can make a difference?
I've always been a bit of a workaholic, but you know, nobody would have put me in the police. I just lived my life. And
what was the decision to go and be in the police then? Where did that come from?
Well, my parents were very old-fashioned, and I wanted to go to university. They wouldn't let me. So when I was 37, I'd got 4 kids, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it. And I went back to uni because I was going to teach.
Wow. You see, amazing.
So I did a full-time degree in humanities, and I absolutely loved it. It was getting me back into the world with real grown-ups. And then in my final year, I applied for my PGCE, and I thought, well, if I don't get in there, what else could I do? Because I'm no spring chicken, I'm 41. And I thought, well, maybe the police go into child protection initially, which I didn't do. But I applied for both, got in both, and I ended up going in the police to try it for a year. And they put me in, you know, I'm sat in the classroom, and I go into it in my book, but I'm sitting in the classroom and they're saying, right, you're going to Altrincham, you're going to Didsbury, Maggie, you're going to Moss Side. And I thought, whoa,
what?
No. Not me, you've got the wrong one. This is this guy next to me. But you know what? I loved it. And I felt, because I was older, we had all the universities on us, and there was a lot of drugs and gangs and guns, and I became a family liaison officer, but I loved it, and I felt that I was doing something really worthwhile. I still had 4 kids. My youngest Matt was only 8 when I joined, but it kind of opened up another adventure, and that's really what I kind of want to get through today, that, you know, whatever life throws at you, you're never too old to start something new. You're never too old to have a go. And if you fail with something, I think that that's a good sign, because it shows that you've pushed yourself to somewhere that you wouldn't push yourself. If you never fail, you're never really testing your limits. And
that's an inspiration. Thank you so much.
Absolutely brilliant.
How did you feel, Maggie, when they made 3 Girls? I mean, to make that programme about you.
It was, I mean, I worked on that for 4 years as the programme consultant, and you know what, there's a lot in there that I find very difficult to watch, because it's a drama. It is not the truth. The truth is a lot worse. And when you're so close into something, you know, I am very protective of those kids, and some of what was in there was very painful for them. And actually, there are things in there that I really disagree with, that I don't agree with. But it was a compromise. And if I had to, what it did was it educated the country about what grooming is. So the ins and outs of the minute detail, you know, if I was watching it as a drama, I wouldn't get the pain or the tiny little things. So if I was asked to do it again, would I? Yes, I would. But since it went out, obviously I took the girls all to watch it. I watched it, but I've never watched it since, because things trigger me, you know. I've got all these, it makes me angry. So it still makes me angry. But I've tried to channel that anger into a positive route to make a difference, to you know, what they did was wrong. And more or less everybody who talks to me agrees that it was wrong. And the only people who have ever tried to justify it are senior police and politicians and those at the top. And it
unbelievable.
And I just feel like stabbing them to death. Because of the,
do you think, Maggie, do you think in this day and age that anything has changed? Is it better now for these girls?
No. I mean, my foundation, I'm contacted every single day. I'm supporting, well, in the last year, I've supported, well, now with my caseworker, over 2,000 survivors. So this has not gone away, and it is as bad as it was. But what we're doing in the foundation now, we are taking people's stories, girls who have been fobbed off by the authorities and still are being, but we are somebody who is there now for them to come to, and we will support them. We are referring cases to police forces now, so they can't just say there's nothing going on, because we know that there is. So there's an audit trail. There's more than one way to skin a cat, and I am so sick of going to these inquiries like the recent National Abuse Inquiry, which I feel was another massively missed opportunity. So we are finding another way to support victims. I want them to know that what happened to them doesn't have to define their future. You know, I want them to turn their pain into power. I want them to take the lessons that they've learned and, you know, give them an opportunity to make a positive future.
Maggie, your book Survivors.
Yes.
Tell us about your book Survivors.
Well, I mean, there's my book. So if any, I think you're going to share the link, but that gives people, it's too complicated to tell the whole story in an interview, but that will give somebody an idea of how I got to where I am. But I see myself as a survivor. You know, I lost Norman in his 40s, and we were together from being 20. You know, I loved him with all my heart. And, you know, at that time, I thought that my life had finished. I thought I'd never have a relationship again. I'd never have sex again. And I don't very often, but I have.
Good for you.
Please God.
Because Maggie, I have to say, Maggie, that Sherry has told me that you're such a fun person to be out with. So we're all looking forward to meeting you up after lockdown.
Absolutely. I can get on a bar with
we will.
So tell me, Maggie.
I want women who have, you know, I mean, I sat here when I was 49 and I thought, that's it, my life's ended. I've got 4 beautiful children. But it, you know, it's different now. But after he died, you know, I fell apart. But I'm a big believer in taking signals, you know, and he died of bowel cancer. And again, I've covered this in the book, but I was going into Christus. I'd made friends with all the research nurses, and I really didn't want to get out of bed. I was just doing it for my kids, really. And one of the nurses, Julie, I went in with a tub of biscuits and went for a brew, and she said, "How are you doing?" I said, "Well, not really very well." She said, "Look," and she went away and she came back. She said, "Have you seen this poster?" I said, "No." And it was a charity trek to Borneo to raise money for bowel cancer. It started on what would have been Norman's 50th birthday, and I thought, and I would have been home a year to the day after he died, and I just thought, you know what, that is a signal. And I did, you know, me and the kids, we did a load of fundraising. We did a beauty day. We did Norman's night. We raised $5.5 grand, and I went to Borneo. And I went through the jungle and I climbed Mount Kinabalu and I got to the top.
What's he like?
But you know what, Sherry? It absolutely, I felt reborn. I stood at the top of that mountain and I looked down and I thought, that was, you know, my first 50 years. Norman, 4 kids. I love, you know, I've loved my life. But I could hear him sort of saying to me, right, you get down that other side and you go and do it for me and all. And I did, and I had a go, and my life is good again, but very very different. And you know, I've had some really good times and some really bad, but I just, you know, we all have opportunities, and I think we shouldn't be frightened to try things new. And
absolutely.
You know, yeah, I do, and really that's what the message that I want survivors to have as well.
Absolutely.
That, you know,
and Maggie, we're going to put it on our website and hashtag it everywhere to help you, because I know that you've got a fundraiser going at the moment, haven't you, for your Rochdale Foundation, which is such a positive thing, because as you said, these kids and these people have been abused, but it's not about that. It's about empowerment, and it's about moving forward into the future, which is what you do so brilliantly. So
I mean, what I would say is it's not a Rochdale charity. We're a national charity.
Yes,
because grooming and child sexual abuse isn't just in Rochdale, it's all over the country. So we are rolling out a national phone support line for all survivors, so that the crowdfunding appeal, which runs till the end of November, I'm so much need that we need somebody to help. I don't get paid a penny, and I want to say that. I do everything I do for nothing. I'm trying to make a difference, but I can't do it at this pace, you know, forever. So we need the public support what we're doing.
Absolutely.
But I need them to, you know, to fund us, to, you know, even £5 or £10.
How much do you need, Maggie, to keep this going?
We're trying to raise £25,000, and then I could take on 2 part-time people, somebody to oversee the phone support system, and somebody probably to help me. I've got one guy who's phenomenal, Rick. He's like the right-hand man now, and I've got 34 ambassadors or volunteers that are going to be running or manning the phone support service. Some of those are survivors themselves, but you know, I'm working 12, 14-hour days, and I can do it. And you know, I've been doing it for, I mean, I only started the charity, it's just a charity, because I was writing the book, and I thought, you know, this is an opportunity now to help more survivors, but it needs more people, so that the crowd is for that, you know.
And we're going to help you as much as we can, Maggie, and we think it's amazing what you're doing, and we're with you. The Wonderbirds are with you all the way. Thank you so much, darling. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute honour.
It's been lovely.
Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you.
See you very soon.
In the pub.
An inspiration.
See you in the pub.
See you in the pub, darling. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, what joy! What inspiration! What motivation! Can't ask for more.
Absolutely
amazing woman,
incredible, wasn't she? I mean, she's amazing. I mean, really an inspiration. We use that word a lot, don't we? But she truly is.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Sherry. Thank you, Sherry. Where did you actually meet Maggie?
I think probably on Loose, but we've just known each other. You know how people do for a long time, and I've just always admired what she did. You know, and I remember all the Rochdale thing. And it was so horrendous. And I remember no one taking any notice of her, and the messages going up, and really quite horrible. And I've just always, you know, and she gives these girls such hope when they don't have any hope for the future. And she, you know, those foundation, if she can get them all over the country, these girls can go there. They know they'll be safe. You know, they may have a future which they've never had. So, you know,
really important. Really important. Well,
really
let's see what the Wonderbirds magic can do, because we can do lots of things.
We are magic.
What's happening Wednesday?
Oh, very exciting. A competition.
Well, we have, because of lockdown, we thought we would go and have a fantastic competition to make people happy. So we've got
thank you to all of you.
Yes. So we've got lots of fantastic. It's going to be our best competition yet. We've got loads and loads of prizes. So tune in on Wednesday and you can find out what we're going to offer. I'm really excited.
Me too.
Fabulous. I'll see you Wednesday, girls.
See you Wednesday.
Bye.